man.
That's why you're here.
Okay, guys, I apologize. I thought I hit go live, so I've been talking to myself. So I've been in the back with some of our new parts and products, and maybe got a little bit too many paint fumes. So, anyways, we are now live, and glad to have you guys on. Anyways, I'm going to start all over. I have a little video I'd like to play. Here, just give me 1 second. So we got a couple issues tonight. Justin, who is helping me run the show, his internet went down because he's back east where they got some bad weather, and that's affected his ability to have internet. So bear with me, guys. I apologize for that little bit of a slow start. But here, we wanted to introduce you to TJ. If you weren't at the event, some of you guys were there, but he's a really cool guy with a cool sense of humor. So here we go.
Two guys walk into a bar. It definitely wasn't me because I ain't walking nowhere.
I think audio check is done.
My name is Gunnery Sergeant Guillermo Tejada. I served in the Marine Corps for just shy of 16 years. I joined in '99. I grew up in Los Angeles. Once I graduated high school, I was off to the Corps. For the most part, I was stationed in Camp Pendleton the majority of my career, except for my tour of recruiting duty, which was in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm an infantryman by trade. I was serving in Afghanistan. I had been in the Marine Corps for about 12 years. When I got injured on November 11th of 2010, was hit. Struck by an improvised explosive device, IED. I was on a foot patrol, and I lost both of my legs on impact. My guys reacted just as we trained, and they saved my life, got me out of there, put me on a bird. It sounds a little bit easy, but it just definitely wasn't easy that day. We came into a heavy enemy contact after the explosion, and my guys literally had fight our way out of there as I was laying on a gurney. Flew me out. I flatlined a few times. Really shouldn't be here, but I am. Thanks to our Lord. And went through a few years of recovery after injury. And retired, like I said, right under 16 years, and now I live in Canyon Lake, Texas. I have a wife and 4 kiddos, and enjoying our time now as a retiree. Yeah. Got a call from Tyler with a BroncBuster a couple months ago that they were looking for somebody that likes the outdoors. I love the outdoors. I think that's one of the reasons why I love the Marine Corps so much. When I was in, just being in the outdoors is one of my passions. And I got a call that they were looking for somebody that likes the outdoors, and they want to do something for them. We got to talking, and they said they wanted to surprise me. And we're here at the event with BroncBuster, and we're waiting to see this awesome surprise that is supposed to be coming soon. Sorry. Damn it. You're going to edit that, right?
That was a crackhead move.
Oh, I thought I was getting stung. I was like, oh shit, here it comes. Oh, thank goodness for editing. I'm pretty excited to see how the surprise turned out. It's pretty awesome for BroncBuster to do this. For me, but not just for me, but especially for the veteran community, and being able to help individuals and put them back in the outdoors is pretty awesome.
All right. So as you guys can tell, TJ is an awesome individual and was definitely well deserving. For those of you guys that couldn't be there, we had a great time. We are excited to announce that our next event will be in the same location. We're going to give you guys a lot more time to plan, and hopefully everybody can come. And it's going to be this October. It'll be October the 12th through the 15th at same location in Contempsey Rocks in Mason, Texas. I brought on Shane tonight. Shane was a big part of our helping pull off this event. He donated a lot of time to come and take awesome photography. One of the things that Shane has offered and put together so graciously is, and I want to show you kind of a preview of some of our photos from the event. He's going to offer his services at shanedurance.com. And the link to get there to buy these is on in the bio on this video. But there's just a whole series of great videos and pictures that we were able to take of the event.
Tyler, talk about as we're looking at these photos, there's probably been a couple where you see vehicles on three wheels. And so talk about next year or this year's event, how we're going to do the driving tips, I guess.
Yes. So one of the biggest feedbacks I got from people was that there was a lot of people with their Broncos.
There's one on three wheels.
Yeah, that's one. But I tell you what, there's a video picture somewhere. We didn't get it in here. Shane didn't get that one captured of that Bronco up on about 6 feet in the air. And Amy's here in the background. She doesn't like to be on camera with me, but she was in the back seat. Her and Cameron were on the women's run, and they got a little exciting ride, right, Amy?
Oh, yeah. I've driven with him enough to know that was a scary situation.
And it's very different when you're in the vehicle and it's doing something it shouldn't be than outside the vehicle, watching it, taking photos and videos of it.
Yes,
look how beautiful this place is. I mean, this place offered so much. I mean, you're in the desert, but you've got ponds, lakes, you've got all kinds of type rock, you've got mud. I mean, it was the most versatile off-roading spot I've ever been to.
I agree. It was a fantastic time. Sorry, here I'll come back. So it was a great time. We appreciated all the support. There's a lot of you guys on here tonight that were there to help support it. Friendships were made. We had some fun wheeling, and we want to make this one a little bit more user friendly. So the feedback that we got was, hey, we want some training. We want kind of a little bit of an off-rodeo style approach. So we're going to bring in some pros. I've talked to a couple friends of mine. One runs the off-rodeo in Vegas. If I can make that happen for him to be here, I'm talking with Bronco Nation to possibly get them involved. They're gonna be there in a lot bigger part this coming year. They're gonna have some better housing. Because one of the things that's difficult out there is enough housing for everybody, right? And that's one of the reasons why we decided to move it to October. Less things conflicting, the holidays, so we figured this one will be an easier time. And we hope to have just as valid of a cause. We got to work with some really amazing people from Camp Freedom and from Solom, so others may live. Again, these are people that we already knew and were friends with, but those friendships are just solidified when we can go out in the off-road community and make friendships and sit around the campfire and tell stories and talk to each other and go out on the trails and have some fun adventure. And we did. We had a good adventure and a lot of fun at this. So appreciate Shane and his help. Shane, I guess, what were some of the things that you got out of the event?
Well, I mean, I guess probably one of the biggest things is the people that they travel around and they support events that have to do with veterans and paying back. And you had two different groups, maybe more actually, that were there just to support TJ and be able to raise money for the chair that we gave him. I mean, that chair, and hopefully you can find the photos of that thing. It wasn't just a chair to help him with mobility. This is a hunting, fishing rock star of a chair. I mean, this thing had like tank track on it. It had, dual gun racks to swing around. And the thing is like I wanted to get on the chair and sit in it and drive it and use it. But this is going to help him day to day. And what the biggest thing I want people to remember is that this was not about us going and doing an off-road event, having fun, which we always have fun, right? This was really for, helping an individual out that sacrificed potentially his life for this country. And about 6 months ago, I drove by a car fire on the side of the road. I live near Atlanta, Georgia, and a little tiny piece of metal got in my eye, and I didn't realize it for weeks and weeks, and it started to rust on my cornea. And when the pain started, and I went to the eye doctor, I couldn't see out of the eye for almost a week. And that was just, and you start to really realize and appreciate, everything that God has given us. And what I want people to realize is that TJ sacrificed potentially his life and the, what he was involved in, he can never walk again. Yeah, and so always appreciate the small things in life and appreciate and respect our veterans.
Yes.
And that's what this thing was about. Now, outside of that, meeting TJ and his incredible family, I mean, the off-roading experience was unbelievable. It was rocks, it was water, it was mud, it was some scary three-wheeling stuff, teeter-tottering. And I've never seen a place that had so much to offer like this place did.
Yeah, and not only were we able to provide an awesome chair for TJ, and actually that night I called up Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent wasn't able to be there, but I called him. I sent him some video of it. He was super excited, and he invited TJ and I out to the ranch to go hunting with him sometime. So I told Shane I'm going to bring Shane along too. We need photos, right? So it should be a fun time. But we were able to accomplish other stuff too. We were able to raise $4,000 for SOML, So Others May Live. That's another one of our charities that we work with that helps to reintegrate veterans back into the workforce. They help with a ton of things. And Travis Seek and those guys are good friends of ours. Yes. Oh, there we go. I got a little help pulling up some of these. So there's a picture of the chair in the background. And Derek's on here tonight with Bronco Adventures. If you guys didn't know the role that he played, we had some last minute scrambling to do when our buddy Jake was in an accident, couldn't bring everything down. And Derek stepped up, picked up the chair for us in Utah, where it just come in and finished on the builds, brought it down for us and brought a lot of other stuff for us. So anyways, cool guy. And if you guys haven't met Derek, hopefully you get to meet him at the next one, because he's definitely planning on being there. So the other thing that we were able to do, we raised $2,000 for Camp Freedom. If you guys aren't familiar with Camp Freedom, they're in Pennsylvania, and they also provide similar experiences in the outdoors for veterans that have been wounded, and they provide wheelchairs that they can go off-roading. They provide a whole lot of services for these veterans, and so we felt like they were a good cause to work with, and we're looking forward to doing the next one. There is still opportunity for you guys to contribute. This isn't just a one-time done. We're constantly going to be raising funds to help our veterans and to grow what we're doing with Wheeling for a Cause. That wasn't a one event thing. This is a ongoing. So, we have the GoFundMe. The link is in the description. So if you have the ability or want to help the cause, we appreciate that. And again, we hope you guys can come out to our next one, because it's going to be, I think, twice, maybe 3 times as big. And we're already starting the planning to make sure that this is a huge success. Shane, again, thank you for all your help. Look forward to, so Shane and I, we're headed to King of the Hammers actually this weekend. Shane's flying out, meeting me. I'm picking him up in Vegas. We're headed to King of the Hammers. That's part of the announcement too, is we picked up some equipment to be able to hopefully live stream next week from King of the Hammers. So Shane and I got a little bit of strategizing to do on what we're going to live stream on our one next Tuesday. But if you guys have never been to King of the Hammers, we're going to hopefully bring a little bit of that to you guys, because it should be a lot of fun and excitement. So,
all right. And the
So, Shane-
raffles, let's not forget about the raffle. The raffle. We
yeah.
had so many products that was, given to us to be able to raffle off. I never, ever win anything unless my wife is there. And so I actually called her or tried to call her. Service was terrible. To tell her that I was buying some raffle tickets and she needed to kiss it through the phone. And I won twice. It was unbelievable. But the stuff that people had, donated to be raffled off was like really, it wasn't like this like little peon stuff. It was really good stuff.
Yeah, I think we had close to $25,000 worth of raffle items that were donated. And a lot of lucky people won some really cool stuff. The support of all of our vendors that came in and supported was great. Everybody that came to support it, because without you guys, it wasn't possible. And every review we got was that it was a great event. Everybody had a lot of fun. And again, we learned a few things we can do better. Like, I did all the cooking. I love to cook. We planned on about 150 people for food, and we ran out of food towards the end, and I scrambled and we brought enough together and we pulled it off. But little things that to note for next time, I don't want to do again, but we'll definitely do better. So anyways, we're going to move on. Shane, thank you again for coming on. I've got Armadillo guys sitting in the waiting room. If you guys don't know who that is, or if you haven't seen some of our other ones, we're going to bring them on. Shane, appreciate you, bud. And we'll see you here this weekend.
Listen, thanks for having me. And it was such a great call. You guys did an incredible job.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, I cut him off. Shane, if you can hear me, I was going to hit the other guys to bring him in, and I hit it too soon. So Shane, I think it's been one of those days, guys. Sorry. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, and I really am excited to bring on Sam and Fabian. You guys have met him before, talking about the Armadillo top. They've got some updates, and we've come a long ways, guys. From I think we're on a month ago. It was the last time we did one.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
And you guys have been on vacation and not doing anything in the last month, right?
Mm-mm.
Exactly. Just a couple snow trips here and there.
So with that, I'm going to pull up a little clip and let you guys talk about it. So let me do the one of them bending and putting stuff together. And you guys tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, so we have the honor to sort of work with a few different companies. Right now we're in cahoots with Amada, and they're helping look at some of our initial parts. We send them the slant back, which they're bending up as we speak, and that's one of our more difficult single parts, and so we kind of wanted to give it to them and see if they could work through it for us. And so this was a big proof of sort of our design concept to try and eliminate a lot of the welding and post-processing and create better parts for you. And so as I'm catting like the wind, we're also able to create parts out of aluminum or steel to continue with the prototyping process all continuously. So that's pretty exciting.
Cool. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to show you guys something when this is over. I've got a piece sitting here in the office. So I'm actually here in the same building as Sam and Fabian. Just we're on different computers because we're here finishing out some of our designs. I'm going to talk more about them later on the products that we're bringing to you guys. We've talked a little bit before, but I can give you updates on that. But what I've got here is a piece. Actually, I'll wait for this to finish. So this here is let's talk about this for a second. This is a one piece for the rear, correct? That's able to be all bent into one, and then there's just minimal welds on it, correct?
Exactly, and it will be done with a CNC press brake with robotic assist. So in real life, you won't have people really handling the product all that much, which for us means we can get closer to lights out manufacturing. So parts are being made while we're sleeping at home. And it also improves the quality a lot. We're able to make much more complex parts much more repeatably. And so all of the products rolling off the line are basically identical.
So what do I have here? What is this? Looks like a
That's
big cardboard box kind of, right?
That's the Sam special. That's me on a long weekend with a glue gun and trying to test out some of the initial designs I had on the computer. So the
That's
faster,
the
faster we can go.
$2,000 version.
Yeah.
So why do we do it that way? I mean, what's the advantage of building one out of cardboard first?
There's the, what is it? The cardboard assisted design. It's a way of going from the CAD model very quickly to where we can rapidly prototype and not burn a lot of expensive materials like aluminum or steel. I'm able to, within an hour, yep, there we go.
Robert knows.
Yeah, we're able to cut it out, look at general fitment. I'm able to look at bolt hole locations and make a few parts over and over and locate all of that with burning $10 maybe of materials. So
cool. So I'm going to pull up to give kind of everybody an idea of the most current design. As this is playing through, kind of tell us some of the features that we have on here and maybe what's changed from last time.
Yeah, so we're taking in a lot of your feedback that we've gotten through social media and personally. We're slimming down on the roof design so there's no clearance issues. We're preparing for a lot of rack attachments and different accessories. So I'm locating all the holes for the roof rack. We're looking at the different window designs. You see the two-piece rooftop, which will be removable, and you'll be able to get that with or without the window glass. And then we're also, throughout the last month, I've been sort of building out the different renderings of the slant back, the square back model, as well as the two-door, which is sort of a hybrid back. And so we're able to also fit, or you're able to interchange between the different backs depending on what sort of fits your fancy.
So so this is one of the questions. Will it be ready with the hardtop prep package? What kind of prep are we building into the design?
So off the line, we're going to have the gull wing doors on either side. So you're going to have the capabilities opening that up. Ideally, we'd want to have every accessory possible for the start of the website. But of course, that's super hard when you have so many ideas. So off the line, we're going to have the molly panels for either side. We're going to do a cargo rack system, which goes horizontally in the back. We're playing with some LED interior lighting options. And then the real kicker, if you follow us on our socials, you'll see that I released today the interior options. So we're going to have a whole bunch of different interior options for you guys, different colors. We're still trying to dial down the colors. So if you guys hop on there, let us know which ones you like so we can kind of prioritize those. And then one of the cool things, so we're using an EVA foam material. It's going to be about 1/2 inch, and we can actually route out different designs. So if you guys want like a diamond cut, you know, some hexagonal shapes, or even a board pattern, we can go ahead and do that for you guys.
Cool. Show them the board. What do you guys have on the board? So this is John. John's watching in the other room. He's here also with us. John is a lot of the brains behind this as well.
Hopefully you
All
can
right.
see that okay.
A little higher.
A little high?
Yeah, you got it.
There you go.
You got it.
So those are some of the color options, right?
Yep.
And
exactly.
texture. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, we hope to have something that is kind of not your typical on what's being done already. We like thinking outside of the box. Fabian here and Sam, they're big outside the box. Well, and John's been a big part of that as well. So they've come up with some really cool ideas, and I love the idea of lining it with that material because, you know, aside from aesthetics, it's going to serve what other purposes did you say? Sound deadening.
Sound deadening. It's UV resistant, crack resistant, waterproof. Like this stuff is tough. They actually use it for multiple different applications. It's the sports world, boats, you name it. So that's why we want to go with it. It's going to help with sound deadening, like you said. So It's going to be great.
Cool. What are some of the other, I guess, features that that you guys see in this, or I guess actually the bigger question is, you know, I get people asking, when are we going to have a prototype done? What do you think on that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, I'm sort of with the picture you showed. I'm nearing the end of sort of the CAD model and dialing in all the weather stripping and things like that. And so hopefully by the end of the week, we'll be able to send these parts back off to companies like Armada to have them start building out the next prototype to get on your car. And so I would say realistically in the next few weeks, we'll have a full-on prototype out of aluminum that we can start to test fit and really bolt it all in and see how it works.
Okay, so how will the interior options be attached to the roof?
So it's a peel and stick operation. So we'll have at the factory here, we'll be applying the options and colors that the customers order. And so we'll be able to lay those in, and they'll lay up nicely because we were able to cut them out as sort of a DXF file. So they'll fit right into the parts we're making, and we'll apply those and they'll come to you all insulated and ready to go.
Cool. So we're back to we're looking at maybe 2 to 3 weeks before we have it live on our website, so that we can start taking orders for them. Correct?
Yeah, we're just missing King of the Hammers, but we're working as fast as we can.
Yeah. So our goal was that before I left this week, we wanted to have a prototype on for King of the Hammers, but we also don't want to rush it. We want to make sure that things are right, and you know, that's one of the things that Sam has been just going back and forth on, is detail, and it's coming together quite nicely. I think you guys will be quite impressed. I love the look of it. You know, I think it solves a couple of problems, in my opinion. This is what I've been looking at with you guys is it's going to give you a more robust, stronger top that can handle more. So if you want to go out and do, you know, some overlanding and put a tent on top and want to fit more than just your girlfriend up top and you down below, or your wife or whatever, you'll be able to 2 people up in the tent, as opposed to, you know, exceeding that weight limit. You'll be able to have cargo on top without damaging a fiberglass top, correct?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's sort of the beauty of, say, the Armada press brake we're looking at, is we're able to, instead of relying on welds and things of that sort, we're able to put complex bends that are repeatable into the part, and all those bends are cold working the material, so you're getting a stiffer product and better quality, so that down the line you can flex it, you can put more weight on it, and then it'll be able to handle it. And so that's all the feedback you guys are sending us is all going directly into the design. So we really appreciate it. Yes.
So Derek is one of our partners also. Derek, as you might know, is Racket Designs, and Sam and Fabian have been working with him on, we've been doing a few redesigns to incorporate it in with this top, but also to help make it where manufacturing can be quicker, less expensive, and so that's one of the exciting partnerships that we are all bringing in together. It's a lot of exciting stuff happening here in Texas with what we're doing. And I think you guys are going to be quite happy with some of the stuff coming up for sure.
Yeah, we're super excited to really bring in Racket Designs. So their roof rack system, if you guys haven't checked it out already, check them out on Instagram. It's pretty sweet. It's unique. It's reversible, so you can be like a cargo basket on one end, and it can be flat on the other end. Ideally, we want to incorporate that into our hardtop, so then you guys can have like rooftop tents on there. And then, of course, it's going to be built super tough. And then apart from that, another cool thing that we're doing is we're playing with the idea of incorporating riv nuts into the hardtop. So I know some of the things that people hate is when they buy a product early and then later on a better model comes out and they're like, dang it, I got to buy that one. So we thought of that for you guys. And so we're incorporating rib nuts. So in the future, if we have an accessory that you guys want, we just design it to incorporate into those attachment points on the hardtop. So then you guys don't have to go out, buy a new shell or a hardtop. You guys can just buy the accessories and then work it into that.
So I'm going to explain what a rib nut is if anybody doesn't know, because rib nuts are a pretty cool little thing that, you know, they insert in, they clamp in, and then they have place for bolt points. And that's one of the things that I love most about the Bronco is all of the accessory points that Ford put into it for modifying and changing it. So these guys have definitely put a lot of work and thought into adding locations to where different things can be added in the future for sure. So Bronco, yes, RTT and overlanding category. This is going to be awesome, I think, for this category for sure.
Yeah. And then for those of you that like the dunes, we also have if you guys have heard of Handy Flag. So we're planning on incorporating their product in with ours as well. So I know it's annoying sometimes to attach a flag here and there. We're planning to do it so it's just as easy as 5 seconds, just plug and play, put it up when you need it, take it down when you don't, and then just store it away.
Yes, I agree. That's always a problem. You go to certain events and they require you to have a flag on there. So that's something we're definitely excited about. I know we always want more, but more posts. Yes, guys, we're trying. And that's kind of our main goal too of the weekly podcast is we want to have updates on what we're doing with Armadillo. I want to have updates on what we're doing in BroncBuster. You know, we're going to be adding stuff to the website constantly. So, you know, on the website that Armadillo we'll have a similar on ours where you can actually build and price. So you'll be able to visualize it on the Bronco and see how it looks. And that's going to be a really good feature. But it all takes work. You know, we've got a guy that's working on it. John's been working with him quite regularly to get that going. And so that'll be a nice little addition. I think one of the comments back there asked about they're excited. I think Robert said he's excited to see it on and actually getting beat up and put through cases. That's my job. So I get it. I was hoping for King of Hammers so you guys could see how robust it is. It won't be, but we will have it by United by Bronco, which is the first week of March. I don't see that being a problem at all. Getting it on for that for sure.
If you're wondering what keeps me up at night, it's that exactly.
Right. You got to figure out, okay, BroncBuster is going to go out and test this. So how do I make it BroncBuster test worthy, right?
Yeah. You can test the cardboard version.
Yeah. No. So, let's see. Oh, yes. Sorry, guys. One of the questions is, will it, actually, I'm going to put it up here real quick. Oh, sorry. It already was up there. Might have been discussed before, but will it have a rear wiper and defrost?
Yeah, so we're looking at incorporating that as an option, as well as a rear brake light, a third brake light for you. So we're getting all that wiring and the installment dialed in for you.
So one of the other questions, because as we're talking about this, as we've gone along, we've added a lot from the first discussion we started with, right? And the question was back here on one of them, price. Are we still going to be for the base model somewhere in that $5,000 range?
Yeah. So that's the plan. And then basically when you want accessories, it'll just kind of build up from there. So on the website, it's really cool. We're going to have an integration where basically you're going to have all your options on the right. Think of Ford websites almost, where you have all your images on the left, all your options on the right. It could just be vertically integrated so you can look at exactly what it is you're buying. And another cool thing we're trying to incorporate is working with a firm. So I know our price point is kind of on the high end for some of you. And we, of course, understand that. Sam and I being young guys, we'd love to have multiple Broncos ourselves. But with a firm, it's pretty cool because you can pay over time. So as soon as we get an update there, we'll definitely let you guys know.
Yeah, and that is something that is already available also on BroncBusterTX.com is we do have a firm. And well, Shop pay is the same thing. Shop pay is owned by a firm, but that is an option for you guys. We try and make it to where you can break that up into payments for sure. Cause yeah, 5,000, 6,000, is a lot. But when you talk about price point in comparison to the competition out there, I think that price point is going to be very good in my opinion. So now one of the other questions was, let's see. Weight. That's what I was looking for. What do we approximate the weight now that we've got it mostly designed? Are we able to kind of put a weight to that?
Yeah, it's looking about 250 pounds around that point. Again, what's nice about that is it's a modular design, so it won't be the case that you're trying to lift the whole thing all at the same time. The roof comes off, the gull wings and back hatch can come off. So it's a modular design, so you'll get it piece by piece, but as of right now, it's looking about 250 pounds.
That's right. So about 250 pounds, but that's not going to include glass or anything like that, right?
Yeah, we're going to have to do a exact weight analysis here pretty soon once I get everything dialed in. We're still looking at the installation of glass and the sizing of all that, so that'll impact it a little bit, but we're hoping still to be hopefully under that sort of 300-pound threshold.
So then, oh geez, my dealer quoted me 16 to 18K for a factory top. Well, I think I would get a new dealer. Yeah, that's insane. But when these go live on the webpage, how are we going to keep this from being a million-year back order? That's the big question, right? What is advantage of metal over maybe the fiberglass options out there for time?
Yeah, so that's a big thing John's helping us push with companies like Armada is we're prepping for that lights out manufacturing. We're working hard to get away from one-off products, and part of the advantage of our aluminum top over what you get with a fiberglass shell is we don't have to rely on the mold that we have to create and change as we come up with new modifications. We're able to quickly iterate, and things like the back hatch that you saw was made in under an hour for the first time, and so we're able to iterate and start production pretty quickly. And yeah, so it's our fear is that long back order, but as I said, we're working hard. John's working hard to get all the right manufacturing equipment in place, so we're able to crank through orders.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, no sleep, no weekends, skip lunch to get your orders out to you guys.
If I can chime in too, one of our plans is going to be once the pre-orders open, the sooner you pre-order, the quicker you're going to get yours. So it'll be a first come, first serve kind of thing. So we'll make sure to jump on that when we announce it.
Yeah, and that's one of the important parts about pre-orders, so that we can then gauge our manufacturing. We can figure out, okay, with what we have, how do we need to scale that to keep up? So we'll get the pre-ordering in, and we hope that once pre-orders go live, that we'll be no more than about 60 to 90 days before we can then start actually having them in your hands. So
for sure.
And yes, Fabian, I agree. It's going to be awesome. This is a project we're super excited about. Vent windows or side hatches. So that's going to be on the side where we have the gull wings, right?
Yeah. So with the side hatches, as of right now, there'll be single pins for the hinges up top. So if you want to remove those and run without them, that'll be pretty easy. The windows will be fixed. You could probably crack open the gull wing hatch itself, but the windows won't really be venting on their own.
Cool. Well, yes, Kyle, I'm not sure where you're located, but we are in the Houston area, close to Houston in Texas, where we're going to manufacture. Absolutely. We would love nothing more than to not have to put this on a shipping truck and ship it. If you're local and want to come pick it up, then that will save. But I will say that's been part of the design process, is designing this in a way that can be broken down and shipped in a cheaper method as well. So these guys, I tell you, have thought through just about everything to try and not only give you guys the best product, but a product that is affordable, a good value, and that we can provide quickly. So hopefully here in the next week or two, we can have an update. When I get back from KOH, we're going to be putting one on. We'll do a lot of social media sharing it. We're getting close to running out of time. So, with that, I appreciate you two coming on. We're going to bring on our good friend Austin Bracken with Bracken Machine, because we're going to talk a little bit about some of our other parts. We want to give an update on the steering and stuff. But again, thank you guys for coming on tonight, giving us an update, and we're excited to have this be a product to get out there to the Bronco community soon.
Beautiful.
Of course, thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. Austin Bracken, how are you tonight?
Tyler, good to be here.
Hey, it's been a little while. I've missed hanging out with Austin. You coming to King of the Hammers with us?
I have no rig.
Just bring my orange one. It's sitting out there outside your shop right now, right?
It's true. It is sitting out here. It's getting
I'll
snow.
I'll let you be passenger and Jake drive.
I'm banned from driving with Jake. Sorry, Jake.
Oh, your wife said no, huh? Well, I told Jake that he needs, if he doesn't get his parts in time, he needs to come get my orange one. So maybe you need to go with him.
Oh.
All right. Well, wanted to bring Austin on tonight, kind of give you an update. Well, actually, we wanted to kind of address, there's been a lot of questions since last week's live stream on another YouTube channel about steering components. And we felt it'd be a good time for Austin and I to kind of jump on and maybe answer some of those questions that have come from some of you guys that are on here and from some other people. And we feel we've got the I feel that we have the most knowledge when it comes to the steering rack on the Bronco. So with that, Austin, what some of the discussion that we had and wanted to address was one of the comments that was made was that adding the bushing and the housing to the steering rack was not a good deal, or wasn't a good thing for the Bronco or the steering rack. How would we say otherwise on that?
What I saw, there's a few comments made about, I've got a bushing here. And they spoke about how it's not a good idea to pound a tight bushing into the housing, tight on the rack, so that I've got it on my screen. Is that possible to share?
Yeah, if you go down to present, you see the little button that says present right there, and then in that bottom window, you see it?
Okay, screen sharing is easiest with two monitors.
Well, you have mute, stop cam, settings, present, invite, and leave studio. Those three buttons down there at the bottom of the screen. No, you don't see that? Well, sorry guys, bear with us a minute. We're working through some technical. What's that? Yours doesn't have that?
No, I got it. Can you see that?
Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right.
Okay, so this is a bit of a cutaway of the housing and how that bushing fits in the opening of the housing. So we've got, this is kind of what you would see where the boot would go on the end of that housing. And if we kind of do a cutaway with that bushing installed, one thing that was mentioned is it's not a good idea because of the tolerance between one side of the rack to the other. I believe they said that they put it on their CMM and had 18 thousandths difference one end to the other. And that is true. We're very aware of that. But what wasn't mentioned is that there is So if I do the quick math here, so we're 1.241 minus 1.225. 1.241 minus 1.225. We have 16 thousandths clearance around that bushing between the shaft, the steering shaft, and where the bushing slides in and out. So under regular driving conditions, that shaft shouldn't touch this bushing.
Right.
You'd be free. And the only time that shaft is going to touch this bushing is when the shaft is being under pressure and it's flexing up or down or slightly forward or backward. So that's one thing that, you know, needs to be addressed right off the bat.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that people need to, or it needs to be understood that, number one, it offers support when you're in an off-roading situation. Like Austin said, you go driving down the road, you're not flexing, but that shaft, we found out that shaft has a surprisingly amount of flex with no support in either side of the steering rack. And yes, it is offering support. And the biggest thing to note is we've got over 2,000 of these out there installed, and we've got 100% success rate. Not one steering rack has ever failed since running our parts. Now, the first part we came up with was this bushing, then it was the buster brace, and then later we found that the other side was a fail point with the housing, and then that's when we developed the housing. So again, since the housing, nothing has ever failed on that side. And, you know, so, I mean, I think it's great that there's going to be a billet aluminum, you know, all billet housing. Austin and I, we talked about this, 8-9 months ago.
Yeah.
We looked at it, we priced it, we put the equipment together. You figured out what tooling would be. And why didn't we go down that road?
Well, by the time you pay for a full billet housing, now some people are going to be able to swap that out themselves, but a lot of people are going to have to take that to a shop to do. And by the time you pay for a full billet housing and then have it installed, you're going to have a pretty significant cost there. And so by just addressing the stock rack with the bushing and the I've got a housing you can bring, but with the housing, I mean, you're addressing the same issue for half or, you know, or even less of the cost. I don't know what the final cost will be, but that was one reason. And the other reason is, up to this point, I don't know of any failures with those components on the rack. So it's kind of hard.
Well, that's what sets us apart from the other guys. You know, I don't want to name names. That's not what we're in to do, but we actually test the heck out of these things. You know, that's all we do. We go out, we put something on, we beat it, we test it, we beat it, we test it. That's why we came up with the name BroncBuster. And then we've got a lot of you guys out there that do the same thing, you know. And so, yes, Robert says cost versus benefit. That is a very good comment. You know, if you add another $3,000-$4,000 to your rack, are you going to get $3,000 or $4,000 worth of benefit? And my thing is no. Now, can you do better than what we have with a stock rack with our components? Yes. You know, I've been testing the Ford Performance rack, and just like the guys said on their YouTube channel, that thing is amazing. The steering capability of that, with having 30% stronger motor, but unfortunately, the same exact issues that we found on the stock rack are still found in this rack. You know, it's stronger, it's got more ribbing, it's definitely going to take a bigger beating before it breaks, but at the end of the day, we've broke it. And again, it takes a lot more to break it, but there's still no support. The internals are the same, so that the center rod, which is the rack, is the same exact diameter, same exact material, and it flexes the exact same way. So without support, it will continue to cause problems and grinding. And so we left it stock and ran it out at our event actually, and took it to the point of failure. So let's see, I've got, so life Life Beef for work. I'm glad I installed both these parts. It's great insurance, and I can save my money for other upgrades. Yeah, I mean, for me, that's what we're trying to do is and trust me, if I find otherwise, I'm gonna share it. We're an open book. We don't try and hide nothing. You know, when we found, you know, the first time when we found a failure on the passenger side, you know, it was okay. Let's get to work. Let's figure this out, and let's figure out how to fix it. And again, to date, nobody's ever broke. You know, once you support both ends of that rack and it's attached to the frame, having a bunch of pretty billet in between is going to be a lot of money. It's not going to give you any benefit, in our opinion. So that's the biggest thing to keep in mind. Let's see, how long till it's, oh, you know what?
Tyler, just to be clear, you know, there is clearance between this bushing and that shaft under normal operating conditions. It's tight in the housing, but there is, you can run a feeler gauge around that shaft between the bushing. So that's not a correct statement that is tight on that shaft. It allows this adjuster to do its job like it, you know, like
absolutely. It's just there to, when it goes past that point, before it blows the rack out, it gives the support. Kind of like that whole scenario of having an egg. You know, you go and put pressure on one spot of that egg, you're going to break it. You take and you put pressure equally all the way around it, you can put a whole lot more pressure on it. And that's what we're doing with that billet, or with the cast aluminum. To answer Ron real quick, though, so I don't forget. So Ron, it's available on the website right now. It's called the Haas 3.0. So we have the housing, the bushing, and the tie rod braces. They're usually about a 2-week lead time on those, because we're not making those in large quantities yet. We're still working on fixtures and stuff to do that. But orders that come in, we're turning them around as quickly as we can. Sometimes sooner than that, but it's generally taking about 2 weeks on those. But yeah, here's Austin's going to show us a little bit about how the housing works and what it does.
Yeah, so there's the bushing. We've got, this is without the bushing, but this is the 3.0 housing. But
so one of the things that I want to point out is, so that hole right there, that's where we put the rubber grommet that comes out of your stock unit, and then it bolts, big old bolt, directly to the frame of the vehicle. So now, you know, any type of flex, anything you have is supported with that hardened steel bushing. It's got a smooth surface to ride on. It's greased, so it's not going to be generating wear, and it keeps you from putting wear on anywhere else on the rack. So that's why I say, when you reinforce the two ends, the center of it, there is no stress on it. It's not under a stress load that's going to cause a failure in the middle of the rack. It's the ends that, if we prevent it from going anywhere on the ends, that's going to ultimately keep it from breaking, right?
Yeah, and so the same principle applies to this housing on this hardened bushing. Under normal operating conditions, that bushing does not touch that the shaft. There's a clearance there. Yep. So the other thing to note that is this end, although it shows it an edge here on this image, like a sharp edge, it's not sharp. It's actually machined in a slope taper. So if the shaft, from the point where the shaft is fixed, the ball nut that's inside, if you were to bend the shaft into a slight arc until it contacts the bushing, the internal of that bushing is machined to follow that same slight arc. And so as the shaft were to flex, it's riding across the entire length of that guide bushing, not just on this end. And the end is also got a radius. That's how we buy them. They come like that, and then we machine them to match that arc, and then put the radius on the end so there's not an abrupt edge.
Absolutely.
So just needs to be clarified there.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I'm not trying to talk anybody out of going and paying money on what you want. Absolutely. We've tried to come up with the best solution. And, you know, so far to this date, we've not had a failure. Nobody's had a rack fail on either end with these components. So, it's a pretty good track record. And for value, I think that's your best value at this point. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and draw it to a close. Unless there's some questions that somebody has out there they want to ask us while we got Austin on tonight. Again, we appreciate you guys joining us. Next week is going to be a fun one. We're going to be out at King of the Hammers, and we'll have some maybe fun stuff to show you out there for those that can't be at King of the Hammers. We'll be satellite broadcasting from that location. So be interesting to see how it goes. It'll be our first time doing that with our Starlink, but I think it should go well. Thank you guys for joining us, and hopefully. Oh yes, I'm sorry guys. Stop. I'm not going nowhere. We have the drawing, and thank you, Justin, for reminding me that. Oh, yes. Sorry, guys. So 2 things. So people are helping me to remember here. Any progress on the filler parts between the body and the bumper once you install the body lift? Very good question. That's why I'm here in Texas Fabco's shop today. Not heading out to King of the Hammers. I actually, right before coming on the show, did a coat of paint on it. I'm not sending a powder coat until we finish with our prototype. But all of our prototypes are done 1.5 inch, 3 inch. So when I get done with the show, I'm going to be mounting everything up, verifying fitment, taking pictures, putting them on the website. We'll be finalizing pricing. And yes, we will be getting that out to you guys as soon as possible. We'll probably price it right now without lights and tell you where you can get the lights. A future version will be that we can wire the lights in. We get the lights from the Tactical, Extreme Tactical. They're very small, but put out a lot of amps or a lot of watts of lights. They look really good. But that is almost done. Like literally tonight, tomorrow, we've got a stock Bronco coming in. We're going to test fit everything on them. We've got each version we're going to do. So, and then to answer Sean's question on the housing and the bushing, not hard to install at all. We've got it in a way the rack does not have to be removed. It can be done in your garage. I can do it myself in my garage floor in about 40 minutes, both of them. The average guy, maybe an hour and a half, but it's a very easy install on those parts. So that's the other advantage. You're not messing with the electrical. You're not messing with the whole rack. You're just doing those things. So, Robert, an hour.
One caution, make sure that if people are pulling their rack completely out, do not turn your steering wheel because you have a clock spring for your.
Okay. Amy, come over here real quick. Amy, come here. Come here. I'm bringing Amy in here. Sorry, guys. You get to see her for a minute. So, Austin, this one's my fault, but yesterday I was putting the Ford, or 2 days ago, I was putting the Ford Performance steering rack in her Bronco, and I disconnected the steering column to take the rack out, and then I went to do the one tie rod, and I didn't have it over far enough. I said, Amy, jump in and turn the steering wheel for me. And guess what? Yeah, she's like, hey, it won't turn. It's not turning, or it's really easy to turn. And I heard a click. I just hear a clicking noise. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing a YouTube video on how to install a clock spring on a Bronco because there's nothing out there, and it is a pain in the arse. It really is. But I found all the tweaks and the keys to it. So as soon as I get some time, I'm going to tear it apart. I'm going to teach you guys how to do it because it will happen. But yes, Robert, oops, and it wasn't fun because it's $250 for a clock spring. And the first one I did took about 3 hours to get that airbag removed because there's these little springs that have to be removed up in there, and they're not fun. Yeah, so Lone Star Axle, he did it. Yep.
Well, that's why I thought I'd throw that out there because anytime you have to move the rack, that it happens way more than you would think.
Yes, it happens way, 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 way too much. So with that, guys, I don't want to forget the drawing. I did that one other time and I had to make up for it. So here we go. Let's see. I got to pull up the wheel and then show you guys here real quick. So bear with me. Let me present. Sorry, it's taking me a little longer because I'm not on my computer where I have multiple screens. So here we go. Share. And we don't have the luxury of having Justin tonight because his internet doesn't allow him to do everything with the storms they're having. Okay, so we're going to spin the wheel to see who is the winner. All right. Life be for work. Okay, so with that, Life Be for Work, we're going to just reach out to us, and I know you're on tonight, so message me, and I will let you know how you can redeem your prize. We're going to give you the choice of either a discount off of a new hardtop, if that's what you're looking for, or on our body lift with our new brackets. We're going to be doing $500 off of either one of those, so a significant discount. So again, don't forget, come on our show each week, comment, and be part of it. So we'll give you a choice on that, what you're looking to do, and appreciate you guys joining us. Austin, thank you again for coming on. And if you get an itch, I think you need to come to King of the Hammers with me. So
it sounds warm compared to what we have. What is it?
I don't know.
18 below here right now. Sounds tempting.
Oh, hey, I'm going to cut back to Shane real quick. So here, I'm going to bring Shane in with us because Shane's got a few things he's gonna share with us here. Go ahead, Shane.
Well, I had to kick Shane out of here. This is Durance right here. And, he gets on my nerves sometimes, even though he's my brother. So we got some cool stuff happening at King of the Hammers. You guys definitely stay tuned. Follow everybody on Instagram, Facebook, and StepD, all this other stuff. And listen, I got some glasses we're going to wear to cover up all these beautiful wrinkles I got in my face. These guys are awesome. I love BroncBuster. I love this tire guy, and everybody's involved. All I got to say is, let's get it.
Let's get it.
Later.
All right, with that, we'll end, but I will answer Robert. So, yes, the Spicer shafts that you got, the units are going to be shipping by the end of the week is what they told me. So they got the parts in, and I've been on them every single day. So you should see those sometime next week, hopefully, Robert. But, again, thank you, guys. Hopefully see a bunch of you guys at KOH, and appreciate your support. Hasta.
See you.